The Calgary Flames could do something we have never seen before as they are on pace to break a record. The Flames have statistically the worst offense in the National Hockey League, and yet they find themselves in a playoff spot late in this season. Through good defense and insane goaltending, can the Flames do the unthinkable? We're going to get into all that and more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family, and this is a crazy one. Let's talk about how we've never seen this before, as the title of this video suggests, and it is pretty crazy. I mean, we can thank a lot of the Flames' success this season down to goaltending, specifically rookie sensation Dustin Wolf, of course, but the defense, especially when healthy, look really, really good as well. It's just the Flames can't score any goals. They scored pretty much all their goals on their recent road trip, all in Philadelphia. Even since they've come back home, guess what? They've got one goal in one game, but we have a wonderful article here to really show what kind of record the Flames can break here with the team they have, and this is a great article from Bill Tran here. So he writes, the Calgary Flames could be the first playoff team with the fewest goals in the NHL since 1989. In 1989, that's a little bit of a special year for this organization. So maybe this year could be a special one as well. But I'll get into the numbers a little bit throughout this article, but it is very interesting that the Flames, worst offense in the league, find themselves in a playoff spot. They could be the first team to finish dead last in goals for and still make the playoffs since 89. But this would be even more impressive as now it is a 32-team league and you have to be a little bit more up there in the standings. As I believe back in 1989, please correct me if I'm wrong because I was not alive then, I'm pretty sure something like 16 out of the 21 teams in the league or something made the playoffs. So it would be way more impressive if the Flames would do it now with more teams in the league. So somehow, some way, the Calgary Flames find themselves in a playoff spot despite scoring the fewest goals in the league. This statement holds true 3 quarters into the season as the NHL trade deadline has passed. The final stretch is now here. Some would argue we're even over 3 quarters of the way in. So right now, the Flames have 164 goals after 63 games, which in today's NHL is absolutely abysmal, let's be honest. This is the lowest outright total in the league, and 0 teams have games in hand over Calgary with fewer goals. Another way to put that is no matter how you do the math, by total goals or by goals per game, the Flames rank dead last. 32nd in the league. A bit of a yikes, a bit of an uh-oh. And if we get into kind of the history of teams who really don't score the most goals in the league at all and where they finish in the standings, it's quite interesting. So this is over the past, let's say, 6 seasons or so. The Flames right now, as you can see here, they have 164 goals, still with, almost 20 games to play, but they are 14th out of 32 in the league standings, which is ridiculous. If you look at some of the other teams, so the past couple years before this, Chicago was dead last in the league in goals for. They finished 31st and 30th. Last year was almost record-breaking with how terrible they were, but very interesting that obviously you're pretty much a lottery team. Same with Arizona back in 2021-22 when they were the Coyotes instead of the hockey club, of course. They were 31st. You go back to a couple of those COVID years. So Anaheim Ducks in 56 games, only 126 goals. They finished 30th in the standings. And then you go the year before, Detroit finished dead last, 31st, as there were only 31 teams back then in 2019-20. So usually a team who struggles to score finds themselves near that first overall pick. Not the Flames. That's not what we do around here. We love to be in the mushy middle, and the Flames 14th out of 32 is actually pretty good. And it's funny, if we go back a few more years, the last team that even was close to a sniff of the playoffs while having the least goals for, guess who? The Calgary Flames in 2009-10. So this was the first year that they actually missed out on the playoffs after being first round exits for quite a few years in a row, pretty much 2006 to 2009. 4 straight seasons made the playoffs, didn't get anywhere. The next year, the offense dried up. The team finished 16th in the standings. So you think back to then, there were only 30 teams in the league, but still 16th, and they did not make the playoffs. That's the last time it was even close to a team making the playoffs that had the least amount of goals. You go through some of those other teams, Minnesota, New Jersey, Colorado, Columbus, Edmonton, St. Louis of those days. They're all pretty much, well, as we can see here, 23rd or worse in a league that had 30 teams. So we've really never seen this before. A team like the Flames, us right now, could actually make the playoffs. I mean, sort of 2009-10, we were close, but the Flames missed the playoffs that year. Kipper wasn't quite able to lead us the way he had in some of those previous years, but it's just crazy to think that some of these teams, I mean, you think of Edmonton in 06-07, that's the year after they went to the Stanley Cup final. Offense dried up. Think of New Jersey in 2010-11, the next year they went to the Stanley Cup final after their offense was the worst in the league. It's crazy what goaltending can do, and we've seen it here. I mean, firsthand, just how insane goaltending can be with Dustin Wolf, even Dan Vladar for a lot of games, and how far it can take you. We are definitely in this playoff race because of them. Now, it wasn't until the very same season that the Flames won both the President's Trophy and Stanley Cup in 1989 that the team with the lowest total goals made it into the postseason. And that year, the Vancouver Canucks were indeed a playoff team with their league low total of 251 goals. They were helped by their goaltending that was ranked third in the league for goals against and made it into the postseason with a 33-39-8 record and a -2 goal differential. So as you can see there, I mean, that's definitely a losing record. The Flames technically have one of those fake above 500 records if you count the OT losses. But either way, again, I want to preface, we've never seen this before because it is now a 32-team league. It's not like how it was back when the Canucks did it in 88-89. If the Flames make the playoffs, it will be history if the offense continues on the train it's on. I mean, who knows? Maybe for these last few games here, the offense will go crazy and we don't have to worry about this at all. But remember earlier in the season, the Flames went on a record of not scoring 3 or more goals in a game, or more than 3 goals in a game. It was absolutely crazy. We know how dry this offense has been. So it's great to see that at least if the Flames do make the playoffs and the offense sucks, there's some history behind it. Some sort of accolade can go to Dustin Wolf and the defense, of course, when they're healthy. But overall, the Flames can make modern NHL history. So Calgary is currently in the second wildcard spot. It seems like things will come down to the Flames against the Canucks for the last spot. A couple more teams. The Canucks are 1 point back with equal games played. The Blues could be in the fold, but they are also 1 point back of Calgary with 2 more games played. If the Flames do indeed make the playoffs and their offense remains last in the NHL, they will make modern NHL history. When it comes to goals scored, anything can happen from one game to the next. A team could get shut out or explode for 5 or more goals. That is really tough for the Flames to do this year. In terms of the league's worst goal scoring teams, here's how the picture looks. I'm not going to show you. Please feel free to go check out that article. It's honestly a very interesting read. It kind of just shows that the Flames are bottom. Most of the other teams with the least amount of goals for this year are the teams you'd expect. San Jose, Chicago, that kind of thing. There's only a few kind of in that playoff mix, we can call it. Teams like St. Louis, teams like Ottawa over in the East that are lower down and still have a chance at the playoffs. But the Flames can really make modern history as they are the ones who are dead last. Crazy, crazy stuff. Now let's just get into a quick little point here and talk about a bit of a deadline callback because it was very mixed emotions after the trade deadline. You know, a lot of Flames fans were saying that's exactly what we expected to happen. A lot of people were calling for Conroy's neck, saying, fire this guy, why didn't he sell? Or the complete opposite side said, why didn't he buy? And this was an interesting tweet here from Sea of Red Central, which I believe is run by Robert Munich of Flames Nation. But either way, they wrote, what is kind of sad to me is the fact that Craig Conroy's legacy in the city is taking a beating, and it's largely not even his fault. Anyone who's paid attention knows that GMs in this organization don't have full or much autonomy at all. There's always one common denominator. And I mean, I'm going to just go outright and say it. It, of course, is the owner. It's Murray Edwards. This ownership group will not allow the Flames to go, tank necessarily or, spend too much and give away too much. They just want us to always be somewhat relevant, but never relevant enough so that money always comes in. And that's what the common denominator is. So if you're mad at Craig Conroy, look, part of it is justified, of course, but really at the end of the day, the reason the Flames didn't sell wasn't necessarily his fault, and we can leave it at that. Now let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, as we love to do here on the channel. This one comes from yesterday's video, of course, and it comes from Red Crypt, and they wrote, the only thing you can hope for at this point is that the defense just continues to gel now that everyone is healthy. It would be cool to be the first all-defense Flames team to make the playoffs. If the top 8 guys can stay healthy till the end of the season, that could be a lot of good chemistry building time. And that's so true, I believe. Obviously, the defense as well as the goaltending is what will carry the Flames to the playoffs if they are to make it. But it is true. A healthy Kevin Ball playing with Raz is good. Hanley has been the perfect defensive partner for Weegar. And then you can throw in, of course, Pahal and Bean as the third pairing. But any of those other guys who come in have looked pretty steady as well. But so far, that top six is doing good. The goaltending is doing good. We could just break a record and see something we've never seen before. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe like you saw here today and have a wonderful rest of your day.